like a kindergarten show. So there is no such thing as a free lunch, as you all know. There is a huge responsibility on all of us to work hard, to talk to our neighbours and our friends and other members of this community about what is at stake in March and at a federal level, probably in May, because so much is at stake. You know, we are led by a Prime Minister who is deeply allergic to the truth, who does not have an agenda on the things that really matter to Australian families, whether it's health, whether it's aged care and childcare, whether it's real action on climate change, and so much more. And this is a guy who will be asking for a second decade in office for this government. So there is an enormous responsibility on us as a Labor Party right across the country to be focused, to work hard and to put forward a compelling vision, a focused, ambitious vision for the country whenever that election comes. And unfortunately, we have two elections pretty much scheduled at the same time. And I'll ask Susan Close to say a few words on behalf of her and Stephen and Joe, who are working so hard in the western suburbs and doing, frankly, under Peter's leadership, just an amazing job. Really, only 3 or 4 years after losing government after 16 years, they look like a team that is ready to govern. They look like a team that is just ready to take the reins again and pick up where, frankly, a very good government left off 3 or 4 years ago. So we rely on you so much as volunteers, as workers, but when we're in opposition, particularly after losing elections, we rely on you for moral support, for that sense that this is a long-term program for the country and for the state that the Labor Party has, that outlasts us all. It started long before us and it will be going long after us as well. And so when you take the sort of knock that we took in 2019 at a federal level, the party gets back up off the canvas. You know, finds new leadership, finds new energy, finds new campaigns to work around, and goes to the next election with a real sense of hope. And I think, as Anthony has said, we've always intended to kick with the wind in the fourth quarter, and you can feel the wind rising. You can feel a sense of momentum behind Anthony and the team. You can start to see the policies rolling out, that people will have a chance to savour, to analyse before they go to the ballot box. I'm really excited about the next election. It's open, I say that, like I've never seen an election quite as open as this federal election, but I really feel the momentum is shifting to us and against Scott Morrison. But we can't take anything for granted. You know, Clive Palmer's got a huge war chest, who knows what he'll do with that. Morrison knows no bounds in terms of the mud he'll throw. He's got billions of dollars squirreled away in hollow logs to use in exactly the same way they used money for sports rorts and car park rorts last time. This is going to be a really tough election, fought out seat by seat to try and get to a position of a majority Labor government next year. And we'll really need your help. We'll need your help as much as we possibly can to make sure that in Adelaide we hold our seats, South Australia we hold our seats, and we also look at winning Boothby. And if we can win Boothby, we're running a strong campaign in Mayo as well. We'll really keep the Liberal Party on the back foot. So thank you all for coming out. It's a beautiful day, great to spend time with you. I think all of us are just looking forward to a bit of time off at Christmas and New Year. We all need to take a bit of time off to recharge the batteries for an extraordinarily important several months that are going to face us at the other side of New Year's Eve. So thanks again, thanks for all your support over the course of the last few years since 2019. Thanks for the support that you're going to give us over the next few months in this very important campaign. Merry Christmas, stay safe, Happy New Year. And I'd like to ask Susan to say a few words on behalf of the state team. Thanks very much.
So, look, we are in a remarkable position in state parliament, and just a shout out to Stephen and to Joe, my close, what I like to think of as Port Adelaide, large version of Port Adelaide colleagues. We're in a remarkable position of having been out of office, as Mark said, for only one term, having been in previously for 16, and you'd therefore expect that we would be really battling not only to be considered a chance at the election, but also to have had a pretty strong performance in opposition. In fact, what's happened is that the Marshall government has done everything they can to help us out. They're a really good bunch of people. They felt sorry for us, and they have made every effort to diminish their own contribution to the state in order to build us up. And I'd just like to thank you very sincerely for that. They've gone from a majority to losing a working majority to becoming effectively a minority in those 3.5 short years. One before the last election and two since the election have had to leave their side because of facing criminal charges. One left because he didn't like them and decided to be an independent speaker instead. The Deputy Premier has had to sort of weirdly but not quite step out of Cabinet, having been found by Dr. Rachel Gray to have misled Parliament and had a conflict of interest that she didn't exercise proper attention to. And more than anything, more than the travel routes, more than the various misdeeds that we could lay at their door, what they're in the process of doing is the greatest crime, which is they are not taking seriously the moment in South Australia, which is that we are, as we're emerging from COVID, we hope emerging from COVID, needing desperately to make serious investments in what our future collectively looks like. And this government doesn't even think that way. So while you've got Peter Malinauskas saying, you know what, education isn't the top thing that we hear about in focus groups, but I'm going to talk about it anyway because it's the only pathway we have to not only a prosperous future, but a fairer future. The other side, their only interest is that they've moved 11 and 12-year-olds from one school to another. That's their great contribution to education. While we are talking about how we try to rebuild manufacturing in a low-carbon world, which means that we have to bring hydrogen on quickly so that we can have cheaper and green energy to support a thriving manufacturing industry, the other side will occasionally commission a bit of a report to see what might happen sometime in the future. This is a government that doesn't deserve to stay. Now that doesn't mean that we get to simply step up and hold out our hands for the keys. It's going to be very, very difficult to win at the state level. COVID has elevated Stephen Marshall in a way that he would not have been able to be elevated otherwise. It is only one term. People not only don't notice that much about how badly behaved some of the politicians are, but if they do, they think we're all at it. So I make no pretense that this is going to be an easy run, but I do say, remarkably, we are a distinct possibility. What that does, just as it does at the federal level, is put the pressure on all of us to do everything we humanly can to make it real. Now, I was thinking about the dynamic of this barbecue as I was on my way here, and I think in some political parties, some other alternative major political parties, it's pretty much the members of Parliament and then it's the rank and file, people who paid their annual fee and are required to go and find out how to vote once. Where we're different is that we're a movement. We're a movement of people who care about things. We had at least 15 people who have some good ideas for policies while I've been here today. We're a movement that includes the union movement that represents the workers, and I'm grateful for the people from our unions who are here today with us as well to contribute and to remind us of the importance of that role that this party has. And as a movement, much as we might occasionally fight internally, as family does, we rally together and show solidarity when our backs are against the wall. And that's what we have the next few months. We have a federal election that is incredibly important.